Good morning, YouTube Reseller Mom here. Welcome to today's video. Today, I want to talk about a return from a merchant fulfilled item and what the screen looks like, where to find things, what it means, and what your options are. And, hopefully this helps you out if you are getting some returns and you need to find some things. Unfortunately, there's a lot of different ways people can return or not receive their package, and there's a lot of different answers. So this is a very one specific. Most of the time during Q4, people will message saying they haven't received their item and they can file an A to Z claim. That's, just another separate thing. That's not what happened in this case. So in this case, I got this guy back yesterday, and on top of it, it says postage due $11.35 and NMR. What that means is that there was no mail receptacle. So whatever their address is in here, the post office was not able to deliver it. And when that happens, it goes return to sender. And if it was paid for by Parcel Select, the cheapest of the cheap post that you can do, then the return shipping is supposed to be charged to me. Now, my mail guy said, I forgot to scan that, so Merry Christmas. And that's why it pays to be friends with your post people. He said if it had gone out priority mail, then it would have come back to me with no charge on extra shipping. So that's just something that I learned. I had never really paid attention to that on returns. I just don't get a lot of returns, and I don't do a lot of merchant returns and have this happen a lot. So when I had this happen, I'm like, well, let me document it so you guys can have a how-to if it happens to you. All right, so on no receptacle return, you're going to get charged back on shipping if it is the cheap postage, the Parcel Select. Now, what do we do? What do we do with returns in your Amazon account? And we're going to go into here. If you click on the three little bars and then select Manage Orders, you can go through and find your returns and such. So if you click these two little bars and go to Orders, Manage Returns, you can see what your merchant fulfilled returns are, what's happening right now. I think I had about 4. Most were item not needed anymore. One was you sent the wrong item. So the sent the wrong item one, I will go to my staff and say, hey, it was a Disney princess and we sent out the wrong princess. But they could be lying too. When customers are doing returns on Amazon, they have to select the reason. And a lot of times they will select a reason to where they get free shipping, because if they admit that they messed up and they ordered the wrong item or whatnot, the system will charge them shipping. So a lot of people will say item not described, website description, doesn't match, etc. All right, going into this one, how do we find it? I went into orders and then I selected tracking ID. Because the tracking ID is right on the package. That's pretty easy. I punched it in. If you use a scanner, the scanner is going to scan. There's 2 numbers. I want to say the first part is the order number. Don't quote me on that one, but the first part is not, it's the tracking number and one other number. My tracking number started on a 9. 9361. So if I had scanned this with my little barcode scanner, then I would have gone ahead and taken out the numbers that are before this 9 number, which is really easy. You scan and then you just boop, delete. So if you're trying to track it, I did that for a while. I'm like, why won't I find the tracking if I scan the tracking number? Anyhow, blonde moment. So put in the tracking number and you will get the item here. We can see here it was ordered a week ago. The buyer's information. You can click on this order number to go into the order. There is a way to contact the person, but I didn't document that the other day. It took a little digging, but I was able to contact a customer and ask them something. I was out of one color and I asked if they would accept the other color, and they're like, no, I don't really want to. So I went ahead and canceled the order, which is a good tip as well. If the buyer says, no, I don't want, say you're selling red and blue and you run out of the red and you're like, oh shoot, I have the blue but not the red, and you message the customer and you say, hey, I ran out of the red, I have the blue, do you want the blue? And they say no, go ahead and cancel the order. Then on the order cancellation reasons, you can say buyer canceled instead of saying I ran out of the item, and it saves you a ding on your shipping matrix, because every time you cancel an order because you were out of stock or something, it goes into that matrix and is a negative. All right, we've got the ship by dates, the item subtotal, order status. We're going to hit that refund order button. And it looks like this. And I'm sorry, I had to redact a lot of things and it looks messier than intended. But here is where we can go ahead and refund the item. Got a couple things going on here. One, we can see how much they paid. And does it break down how much they paid? Yes. So they paid $39.60 for 3 items. And they paid outbound shipping of $35.83. So their total was $75.43. Did I actually pay $35 to ship this? Absolutely not. I have a weight-based calculated template. And so when people order, this is a candy item, when they order multiples of candy, it adds up the weight, and the calculation for shipping usually goes in my favor. My default shipping calculations are for weight-based items, $4.99 for the first pound, $40.99 for each additional poundage. I can tell you right now that this fit in a bag, and I don't remember how much we paid for shipping. I'm going to guess less than 20 bucks. So that means I pocketed about $15 on the calculated shipping. But that also is because I tend to have my items priced at a lower amount, but make it up in the shipping, if that makes any sense. All right, you can select a reason for refund. I'll show the drop down on this in just a minute. And you are allowed to do additional refunds. It says I could do up to $20. I want to say that it fluctuates on how much the order was. So if this was a $10 order, it would be, maybe $5. But I've not dove down that rabbit hole. The other thing with Amazon you got to remember is things change all the time. So like buttons and where things are and refunds, how refunds are processed has changed over the years. The landscape has changed. You used to be able to charge a restocking fee. You can't charge a restocking fee. But if I wanted to not issue the full refund, I could issue this partial refund. But I'm going to show you all those buttons here. So reason for refund looks like this. All these items. I clicked through 80% of these and nothing changed on this page. So selecting a different reason didn't give me different options. The other part right here, note to yourself, this is something where the customer's not going to see this, but if you wanted to make a note, you could make a note to yourself. I've never made a note to myself, but you could if you wanted to. Today I selected shipping address undeliverable. And I think it is important to kind of be as correct as you can, because if Amazon's going to notice that this guy keeps ordering and the address is not available, then that account that Terry owns, Terry was the customer, is going to eventually be flagged, or they will stop letting him order to that address because something's wrong in the system. I don't know what. The address looked fine to me, but who knows? Again, there are so many rabbit holes. People ask a lot of very detailed questions, and it's like, I could spend an afternoon trying to figure this out, or I could move on with my day and make some money. And then I got to pick my battles here. When you select the partial refund, this is what it's going to look like. You can select a reason, and I have the drop downs right here. There was only, I didn't scroll down. There's a couple of different, I guess, options if you had scrolled down. But the first two was product received not as described. Product received contains damage or missing items. So let's say you send something and they returned it and they used half of it, and you want to order a partial refund because you're mad that they used it, or maybe they walked around in those shoes for 2 weeks and then returned those shoes. It happens. This is where you would go and issue partial reimbursements. Says you can issue a full refund or a partial up to 50% of the total unit cost. So it looks like I can't do shipping. I should have poked around a little bit more, but my items were about $10 a piece. I believe the total was, what was it? Total for the units, $39. So if you divide that by 3, that was $13 per item. And half of 13 is what, $6.50. So I could have gotten $6.50 times 3, 6, 12, 18, 19. Could have gotten $19.50. I could have held back at max on this. Again, you're going to just select the reasons. I chose not to. Amazon is very big on the customer experience and not They're just customer service based. Am I mad that this came back? It's a $75 order. Sure, but I'm going to go and sell these items again. They didn't come back in a shape that I can't go ahead and sell them again and make some profit on it. I will either be making profit or at least breaking even. They didn't even get the package. I don't know what's going on, and I choose to look at situations and give the benefit of the doubt. Perhaps this person, uh, you know, is having a problem in their life and they just didn't get the address right or something. I don't know. There's a million reasons why this happened. And I didn't feel that they were malicious about it. I feel like it was like a technical error. Maybe the address, Google didn't map the post to the right address or something to that effect, or they punched it in a little bit wrong. I didn't feel malicious. Now, on customers that use the product and use half of it and then send you back half of it, those irritate me a little bit more. I would be more inclined to do, partial refunds on those types of items. They're harder to do, especially since most of my items are FBA. But anyhow, that's, you got to run your business however you want. And if I wanted to stick it to them, I could probably get away with it. They could fight it. I just choose not to go into those battles. I think this is my last slide. Yes. All right. Once you hit that the refund is been done, you get this page. Sometimes customers will ask and I will respond to them, but I don't message them unless if I really need to. Like, I don't need to reach out to this guy. He can see it in his, if he goes to his orders, he'll be able to see that he was issued a refund. If he calls Amazon and he's like, I didn't get my candy for Christmas, they'll look and they'll say, yeah, it was your shipping address undeliverable. It went back and you were refunded. End of case. Like, I don't want to talk to people. I really don't. I try to avoid talking to people. That's why I do Amazon, because I just don't like it. I don't like talking to them. People are upset all the time. Anyhow, you can see what's going on here. It will come right out of my account. The other thing I wanted to point out here was this. For whatever reason, Amazon kept saying that the shipping service was going to be media mail, and they weren't media items. So that was kind of weird. I saw that a lot this Q4. I'm like, it's candy. It shouldn't be media at all. If you wanted to contact the buyer, you certainly could. Again, the email part isn't here. I want to say if you click on his name, that might have been the pathway I got to it. Phones, I have only called one person ever, and I regret doing that one phone call. It was, I don't know, 5 years ago, and the lady said I sent the wrong thing or something happened, and I called. I'm like, well, how can I provide customer service and make this better? And I don't know. I got the feeling that she didn't really want to be called. She just wanted to have things taken care of. But if you wanted to call it, you could. What you cannot do is you cannot take your customers, Amazon's customers, information and use that for any other purpose. So if Amazon ever catches you taking their phone numbers, taking their addresses for any, like you're going to put them on your mailing list or anything, you will get in big trouble. Same with calling. If I called Terry and I'd be like, hey, I sent you some candy. What the heck's wrong with your address? That's not appropriate either. So make some good decisions there. It's like you call, and that's like very, very small cases will ever have you needing to call. That's, if I was doing a custom order and I wanted to make sure I had the spelling right on something, or I don't know, something weird. Again, I don't use it, but it is there. There's a lot of options in Amazon that are there that most of us aren't going to use depending on how you do your business. Hope this helped you out and kind of shed some light on walking through a merchant fulfilled return. Like I said, this is coming in. I'm really happy because my postman would have charged me $11.35. That's probably what I paid to ship it, $11, give or take. Am I out the $11? Yes. If he had charged me the extra $11, then I'd be out $22 on this order. And to me, anything really under a $20 loss, I'm just going to roll with it and move on. It all gets calculated in my business profit and losses and stuff. I run QuickBooks and A to X to run all the transactions, and all your refunds, all your returns, all of those shipping things will get put into your P&L at the end of the month. So I'm not worried about it. If I sat here and really tried to nitpick all of my shipping and tried to maximize all returns and refunds and got to battle with all my customers, I'd be spending a lot of time doing that and not just finding more profitable items. Returns are part of life. So you choose how you spend your hours and what you want to focus on. And I want to focus on good things, money coming in, good juju, and not on the negativity and the downside of returns. I got returns of my own. I got to go run returns, and I just get them done and move on with life. Take care. Have a great day.